this school on Thursday, the 5th of May, 2022. I have hay fever. I've had it as long as I can remember, and it's always been extremely bad, but every year it seems to get worse and worse. I take some of the strongest, probably the strongest tablets that there are for them. I take one daily, and I also have this spray that you put up both nostrils, twice a day. And today, I forgot to I forgot to take my tablets and spray. Keep that in mind, because I was fine all day, surprisingly, up until period 9. But I'll get into that when we get to period 9. Instead of having assembly in the hall, we had assembly in study, and I just read the entire time. So that was great. Last Friday, Sir asked us to complete the notes for this sheet for tomorrow. But he didn't upload the notes. I messaged him on Tuesday saying, "Sir, can you please upload it?" And he didn't. And then the girl sitting behind me in study, who is in my English class, was mentioning it, and I said, "Oh yeah." So I messaged him again, and I get that he's busy and all, but I just don't want to be shouted at for something that's his fault. So eventually I uploaded a period 3, but I don't think he uploaded the entire thing. But I won't actually know until tomorrow, because I would have finished it, but the thing happened in period 9 happened. I mean, it's already obvious what it is, but I want to tell the story properly, do it justice. So, actually, wait, hold on. In English, the teacher asked me if I did my essay, and I said yes. I uploaded it to you on Tuesday. You did? Yes. Also, a bunch of people in the class said, "Yeah, Dylan, you never do your work." "Oh, sure I don't." "Yeah, okay." And 3. The teacher took this based and fantastic story known as the Crucible, very liberal, politically. She took that beauty and made it far left, because the Crucible takes place during the Salem witch trials, where, obviously people are being accused of being witches for terror, for nonsense reasons, and then being executed. Well, something somewhat similar was happening in the 50s, known as McCarthyism, where, because people were terrified of the threat of communism coming into America, because the Cold War just started. And McCarthyism is the word for, like, an accusation of being a communist for nonsense reasons. And there was actually this group known as the House of Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, who would investigate people, and, like, if they suspected you of being a communist, you would have to go and talk to them, and they would basically just ask you, tell us who your communist comrades are. Like, who else is a communist spy? And they would just blacklist you. And the teacher was saying, the teacher asked, what is the modern day McCarthyism. Now, what do you think it is? Seriously, put it in the comments what you think it is. I would have said cancel culture because that seems like a very fair thing to say. But no, I'm wrong. Apparently, it's abortion. um, because the teacher's very passionate about abortion. I've never seen a pro-life person or a pro-choice person talk about abortion so much. She's always trying to link things to abortion. Like, I'm always trying to link things to politics, but never one particular subject. So basically, oh, women are being oppressed because they've banned abortion in Texas. Oh no, this is a bad thing for women everywhere. America is such a racist country, despite the fact we have a Democratic president. America isn't democratic despite the fact we have a Democratic president. And one of the students actually said that we need to gas Donald Trump. Bitch, Trump has been out of office for over a year. All this stuff about abortion has been happening under Biden. Stop blaming Trump for all this. It's not him. You need to get out of this obsession with blaming everything on Trump. He's been gone for over a year. It's like someone like really clinging on to their ex. But whatever. In study period 9, I was doing the notes for English, but then I had a hay fever fit, and I actually got to the point where everyone around me started laughing because I found it funny. Probably because of I didn't like look in a mirror, so I don't know if I looked like I just sneezed, but I I think I was red all over, especially the eyes and cheeks. Um, so eventually at his house grade, I went out of study, went over to the mentor and asked her what I should do. She said, "Go back to study because the study teacher in air quotes is a first aid person." So I went back, and on the way, I tried to gently shut the windows that were close to where I was sitting at. But those windows don't actually close gently. Like, they will slam unless you put a finger between it and where it would go. I didn't know that. I've never closed the windows, I've only ever opened them. And I'm about to sneeze. Oh, so I went to go back in the study and I heard footsteps, like a woman's footsteps, and I assumed that someone was about to leave, a student was about to leave. So I held the door open for them. But it was a study teacher. And she said, "Why were you?" And this was her exact word. "Why were you banging the windows?" I said, "I wasn't. I was shutting them. I have hay fever." "Don't bang the windows. Just move to the other side of the room." My hay fever is so bad to the point where if I moved to the other side of the room, I would still sneeze. So, no. Don't bully me for having hay fever. This is supposed to be an inclusive school. So, I sat back down and I tried to do my work, but I just got too pissed off, so I decided to report her. Now, before you go call me a tout, don't for, don't forget who I'm talking about here. You hate her, right? So why don't you set aside your hatred for me doing stuff like this and allow it to happen? Because what if she gets into a lot of trouble, possibly even fired, and we get she gets replaced with someone better? And I'm not advocating for her getting fired, but my point is, before you go saying, "Oh, Dylan's a tout" and all that, you need to remember who it is I'm turning on. So I went to email both my mum and the head of year, and I basically explained what happened. But yeah, I just explained what happened and sent it to them. My mum got it, the teacher didn't, because she doesn't really look at her emails. My mum replied saying, get her to phone me at this time. So I forwarded that email to her, but I got no response. And eventually, oh, but by the way, the teacher, study teacher, came down to make sure I was doing my work, because she now assumes, based off this one, I'm debating whether or not to call it an incident. You know what? To the people involved in the racism situation, I would recommend that you close your ears. I'll let you know visually when it's okay to open them back up. I will hit the home button and then go back onto this to let you know that it's fine to turn your volume back on. This isn't an incident, it's just a situation. Oh, and also, because of all the laughing that was happening when I was sneezing, the teacher assumed that we were talking. Anyway, so after I finished the email and I decided to screw it, I went to go down to her, but she was teaching a class, so I went to go back, but the media teacher saw me and said, "Dylan, can you do this for me?" And I did. He wanted me to, he was in a different room than he normally is, and he asked me to get this teacher, this teacher, meet him in 5 minutes. So I said that to her, and I think that she thought that he was going to go up to that class to talk to the class, the pupils of that class. Don't understand how she thought. I don't even know who this teacher is, but whatever. Yeah, that's it. Naomi, mixed ratings, CW original series. I thought it was part of the Arrowverse, but it turns out it isn't. But that doesn't matter anyway, because it's bad. But this also means that there isn't 3 Arrowverse shows currently going on. It's actually 2. The Flash and Superman and Lois. This meme's as of 5 past. 5 past 6 p.m. Sorry. Fine. Ban abortion. I'll just refuse to have sex with you. Oh no. I dream women will one day have the same rights as guns. Women will have to wait 72 hours before meeting someone while awaiting a background investigation. Women will be banned from entering schools and college campuses and post offices. Women will be banned from polling places on election day. Women will have to pay a fee to the state before being carried on your person. Women will be banned simply because they look too scary. Women will be banned from all airports. Women will be locked up at all times when not in use. Women will be subject to environmental regulations due to their discharges. And women will be banned because they make too much noise. And you've probably noticed a trend that I've been... there's been a lot of abortion memes. And that's because it's such a trend topic. And the head of year didn't, like, start talking about abortion a lot because of this. She was doing that before this happened, which is also why, especially since she ruined the Crucible. So I'm about to post these photos from Brave New World onto my Instagram because they're based, and people are gonna perceive it as both me and the book advocating for it, because most of it is talking about children having sex. But now I expect that us, as the modern generation in 2022, to be able to read something and not automatically assume that it's advocating for it, because it isn't. 1984 was not advocating for the totalitarian state. It wasn't advocating for Big Brother, double think, wrong think, and all that to be real. It was a warning against it. So I've already talked about a line where they were talking about how it used to be not only considered immoral but also illegal. And by considered, I don't mean that I don't consider it to be immoral. I do consider it to be immoral. There was also this page where they talk about how they used to condition the children at a young age to love the country, so that they would constantly go into the country, which means they would need to buy a lot of fuel. So basically they're trying to find a way to get people to buy a lot, contribute to the economy a lot, and in this case with fuel prices. But then to find out that actually this wasn't really effective, especially because they use particularly flowers, and the type of flowers that they used don't actually grow in the country. Then this is similar to the one about the children having sex, and this is actually only a page before that happened. So one of the children in the orgy didn't want to partake, and the adults thought, oh, he has something wrong with him because he doesn't want to have sex. Now, the type of people who were telling me that this book is wrong, it's bad, it's advocating for it, and they never said it, but I think they think it will never happen. They're the people contributing to it. Because currently the average age for people losing their virginity is 12. And I'm not surprised. I mean, in RE last year at the very start, the teacher asked us, I guess 13. And people were like, Dylan, what the hell? And then the teacher said 12. And they all went silent. Honestly, I blame YouTube. Because YouTube taught me a lot about sex that I had like 8, maybe 7. And I shouldn't have known all that stuff. Like, I knew what masturbation was at 7. Something I forgot to mention in school is that I was talking about all the stuff people were saying about me in Brave New World to the mentor, and she said, oh yeah, because it's anti-PC, No, it's not. It like it is PC. It's just what PC will become. Because as I said already, eventually, I think it's inevitable that's what's happening in the book will become true. And I'm not talking, decades or centuries down the line, because the book does take place 600 years after it was written. I think it's going to happen soon, because me even 5 years ago, Marcus uploaded a video called YouTube Pedos Take a Seat, where it was a bunch of people advocating for pedophilia to be legalized because they just don't understand why it's wrong. And I'll explain why it's wrong. I think I've already explained why it's wrong in another video, but just in case I haven't, here I go again. Your brain isn't fully developed. So if someone asks you for sex and you say yes, you don't fully know what you're getting into. That is a very simple explanation. I don't understand what's so hard to understand. But anyway, this is Twitter as of 29 past. Bitch looks like she's about to reach Walmart Maria. The tweet that he's replying to has been deleted. If it was about babies, we'd have excellent and free universal maternal care. You wouldn't be charged a cent to give birth, no matter how complicated your delivery was. If it was about babies, we'd have months and months of parental leave for everyone. If it was about babies, we'd have free lactation consultants, free diapers, free formula. If it was about babies, we'd have free and excellent childcare from newborns on. Right, you do realise that, like, formula and diapers and all that, they require money and resources to make. That's why they can't be free. Same way that we can't raise the minimum wage to $30. If it was about babies, we'd have universal preschool and pre-K and guaranteed after-school placements. Right. See if you want to go to a school that costs absolutely nothing, the school's going to be crap. The more you pay, the better it's going to be. Like, you have to pay for your books and all that. And if you don't pay for the books, then you're just going to have to write without a book or bring your own book. Either way, you're paying for a book. But whatever. Guaranteed after-school placements. If it was about babies, IVF and adoption wouldn't just be for folks with thousands and thousands of dollars spending on expanding their families. And that's why Marcus told this Leela Cohen person to go screw herself. Marcus's wife can't have a child, right? Or at least not the natural way. No offense, Marcus. Just, she has this condition where if she got pregnant, instead of the baby growing in the womb, it would grow in the stomach, which would eventually kill her. That's why Marcus and Sue went on IVF. Not because they wanted to expand their family, because it was their only choice. All the boy pussy friends finally get me. Feel compelled to visit a tranny prostitute. Find one that isn't full tranny but more trap-like. White, 5'4", flat tits, cute face, etc. Immediately notice how much bigger dick is than mine. She calls my dick cute and says it's just right. When I'm 69, I can't stop thinking about all those trolls who say traps are gay. They are. You're literally sucking a dick. Like, that's gay. With the twice the size of mine, these accusations seem legitimate. Oh, because it's twice the size of yours? So if it were a quarter of the size, it wouldn't be gay? How does that work? She stops and asks if I want to change positions. I just lay there with as tears slowly gather in the corners of my eyes. Break down and ask her if she thinks I'm gay. She spends the next 20 minutes comforting me and make me feel better. Come home having without even getting off. I've never felt like such a beta faggot in my entire life. Suddenly these accusations seem legitimate. Marcus confessions? Bro, never touch your dick. That's gay. If there's accidental contact, you immediately abort mission and carry on and pretend it didn't happen. Can't leave witnesses. Hello, this is Person with the Person, Journal Sentinel. One of our readers said that you posted racist, sexist, anti-Semitic and other videos on the internet and that the reader is going to send them to me. Do you know about what this is all about? Have you posted videos with these kinds of headlines on the internet? If you can Facebook me or call me at number. Hello, hard-working entrepreneur. You're not an entrepreneur, mate. You're just a YouTuber. An anonymous person on the internet said insane things about you. They didn't provide any evidence of me, like, if you could prove this, provide this, modern journalism going to sell so much coffee. Now, man, I people who would never buy your coffee will not buy your coffee. Oh no. Marcus, when's the next Mad Lads videos? But a bit later than them since I've been sick, but I have some good ones lined up. In Turkey reports annual inflation of 69.9% in April. That's not nice, Mark. Some people like the Marcus drawn last time, so I made it. Beat the crap out of the worst boss. Family outing in Elden Ring. I also didn't have enough reference for Sadie and Sue when I made the sketch, so I had to imagine what they looked like. Context: baby doesn't want to leave sword, so wife is about the witness. Husband used baby as weapon. Would unironically run this build. Sorry about my foot popping there. What YouTuber has a sexy comical voice that would be willing to read a green text post for a video I'm making? Mark's making videos on green text? I can't think of any particular YouTubers with a sexy or comical voice. Because when YouTubers try to do a comical voice, it's just cringe. Like, I think the first person I can think of is that guy. Actually, no, I'll give a better example. Stampy. As I've said this before, definitely probably in nostalgia. He went from, hello, this is Joseph, to, hello, this is Joseph. Because he tried to be more kid-friendly. You don't need to put on a high-pitched voice to be more kid-friendly. Otherwise, how would Johnny Bravo exist? I was trying to think of a cartoon with a main character with a deep voice. There's some slurs in it, but I'll bleep them out, maybe. It has the word faggot in it several times, and I know most of these tags would never say that, LMAO. I think I know which green text this is. Don't you dare. Sunset, this sounds like a job for you. Actually, the idea of getting her to read out something horrible is pretty funny. I don't know who this person is. Apparently John Venables and non-amended the order could be debated in Parliament soon. Actually, I'm not going to say anything because right, for those who don't know, John Venables is a guy who murdered a child 30 years ago, and he went to prison for it and then eventually got released on like on Her Majesty's word or something like that. Pardon, I don't know what it is. Where basically the Queen let him out, or a judge, and basically it is illegal to post his face online. So he, and I think because he murdered the child, and I'm talking like a baby, or close enough to a bit, but like a toddler. Because of him doing that, he eventually, he's a pedophile. Um, that's not relevant to what I'm about to say, but whatever. He would go to a place under like a new identity, and eventually get caught most times because he would just straight up tell people that he was John Venables, and people wouldn't know who it was and try and kill him because he murdered a toddler. So I could either say that they should keep it, like keep his anonymity, but that would mean that a child killer and pedophile is getting off the hook. Or I could agree, and I know that my opinion doesn't matter, but it's all about morals. Or I could side with his identity being revealed, but he would basically immediately be killed. Anyway, even that means he is potentially killed or maimed if and when his identity goes public. What do I mean if? It's definitely going to happen. He's responsible for his own protection. If he wants to blow his cover, that's his fault. Actually, yeah, fair enough, considering he's done it so many times. Wait, is he not in jail? He is, but he's up for parole soon. Twice? They should have gotten rid of his anonymity the first time. No, he was given 3 new identities after that. Once again, we can't expect God to do all the work. I shall not endorse this behaviour publicly. You think at some point they'd literally just send him to a different country and wash their hands of the whole thing? No one will know or care unless he's obnoxious about it. They tried that literally every single country they applied to refused to take him LMAO. Question is should whoever killed him be prosecuted? If James Bulger's dad managed to find him and carry out his promise, I double dare you to find a judge, jury, and slan that would be brave enough to convict him. The riots would be of an unimaginable scale. Also, watch every single witness pull a Skidmore. Gun, bullet, Cam McElroy, dead, happened 5 feet in front of me. I have no idea what you're talking about, officer. This child knows more about entrepreneurship than I do. Like, it's crazy. That's like, what is entrepreneurship? And he says owning businesses, which I already knew that, but, and then he would say, stuff about financial risk. What's financial? Money. What's risk? Chance. Stuff I already know. And something else, and then eventually it got to like property stuff, residential property and commercial property. I was able to explain the difference. I didn't know that. He's going to be rich. Come on, man, just let me invade, just a tip, just see what it feels like. Fike spear? Pathetic. Sorry, bro, I can't hear you over all these vanquishings. So apparently Pfizer, who is the biggest manufacturer of the corona vaccine, have released documents that basically state that the vaccine is useless. I was never anti-vax, but I'm not surprised by this because when it comes to other vaccines, there's no debate about it. But with this, it's always, oh, you need to get it. Yeah, it only reduces your chance by like whatever percent, which turns out now is 0. But yeah, you should still get it. So full conservatives is trending, and I had a feeling that it was actually sarcastic tweets where it's going to be, full conservative if you want this really bad thing to happen. Example, want to lose your social security? Want to lose your right to vote? Want to lose your healthcare and Medicaid? Want to pretend racism isn't a problem? Where? Where is it a problem without mentioning George Floyd? It hasn't been a problem for nearly 70 years. I'm going to guess you are nowhere near the age of 70. So you have not felt this racism. One person or a small group of people being racist is a personal problem, not a collective problem. And it's not the Republican Party's fault. Also, you should say vote Republican, not vote Conservative. Right? The Tories are different to the Republicans. Whatever. Want to see kids go hungry? Want to make a 14-year-old girl give birth to a rapist child? Now, when do you care about underage girls getting pregnant and giving birth? You've never cared. And giving birth to a rapist child. Yeah, well, just because the dad is a rapist doesn't mean the child will be a rapist. Like, I'm sorry. I get it's horrible, but I just don't believe in abortion for people who were raped. The only circumstance that I think is fine is when the mother could possibly die. Been a while. This argument is kind of weak, but just bear with me here. Most of the stuff that's going on here comes from Texas, which has been a Republican state for quite a while. So my point is that all the people that are supporting abortion have had their chance to move away for a long time. So, yeah. As I said, weak argument, but I just wanted to make it. Yeah, so here's the real conservatives. The ones that are actually called the conservatives. Voted. Today is a chance to send the Tories a message they can't ignore. Britain deserves better. Make a plan to vote and tell your friends and family to do the same. I don't understand because this happened during the American election as well, when it was like, make sure you plan out what to do and tell your friends. What is it, like, what am I missing? I don't think there's anything to plan out. It's just, you vote for this guy, you vote for this guy. Also, yes, Britain does deserve better. But really, the only other party that has a chance is Labour. What is Labour going to do? What Labour is going to do is most likely worse than what the Tories are going to do. Because most people's arguments against the Conservatives is Partygate. There are worse things that you can go against the Tories for. I can't think of any right now because I don't really follow British politics, but they're, it's politics. There's gonna be something worse. Look, an attack helicopter. I wonder if it strands. Really, Boris? One joke? That was my rocket launcher sound effect. Notice the fact that this video really shouldn't be 39 minutes. It is an improvement over yesterday's video, but how long do you think it's going to take for one of these videos to go over 1 hour? I don't think it's going to take long. And it's not my fault that these videos are taking long, because I'm not really doing anything that's wasting a lot of time. The school segment for today's video lasted 13 minutes, which, while that was sort of the standard for a while, it did drop down to the point where we were having the school segments that lasted like 3 to 4 minutes for quite a while, but all of a sudden now it's up to a really long time, because God forbid I catch a break